Okay. Okay. Welcome to today's Roblox Studio session. We'll be going through a few Roblox Studio basics. So what you see here is an empty base plate where there's no activity happening. So basically, you have an empty activity. But first, let's go through the different peripherals that we have here. So on your top left corner, you have your different stations like your home, model, avatar, test, view, and plugins. So we'll start at the home. This is now, let's say, this is the select button, but that's for adding a part. So we'll start with this block over here. Hold on. Okay. We'll start with this block. Now, with the select button, it's the one that you know. You click and you hold to move around the cube that we've created, the part, right? Now, when you click and hold, you will realize on your bottom right corner that there is a small toggle that shows up with shortcuts. So we have T to tilt the camera, R to rotate around, Alt is for initial orientation, Shift is to disable snapping. So we'll go through all of these. Shift X is also to toggle, then H is now to toggle the hotkey up. All right. So we've gone through select. Now the next part is to move. So you can see here, this is for when you want to go directly up, down, left or right. Okay. This is now how you move your object. And as you move, you even see the axis ratio that it goes into the move. Scale. Now for scale, you have different options here. So you can either scale like this, which only expands or minimizes one side, right? But let's say what happens if you hold in shift, control. You see with control, it does the same for both sides. For shift, only does it for one side, right? For, let's say, and you see I'm using all of these examples that they're giving me in the bottom right toggle. So next we can try out. Now this one expands. It treats the whole thing, it treats the shape as a whole and expands it as a whole. So it doesn't actually extrude the shape. Yeah. Okay. Now rotate. Rotating me different axes. Same here. And once again, it has its own set of shortcuts for the toggle. So we can try with blue and you hold in shift. You see them. You see how it moves. Right now, let's try the tab. Okay. Right now, let's say for an instance, you find a shape that's something like this, right? And you can't get it right to that perfect 0. So what you can do is you go to its properties, go to part. Let's wait, hold on. Okay, yeah. Then let's take this one away first. Let's say select. Right. Okay. So the reason why there are two is because you can press Control and D. That duplicates. And then when you press select, you grab, the duplicated shape will stay behind. So there I've made 3 different duplicates. Okay. Now let's go on to the next part. Here we have our editor. This is where you can now import different parts, generate them from already existing projects, or clear, which means just to remove. Yeah, leave that for now. Now we enter our toolbox. This is basically just where you can search up any different parts that you want to add into your world. It can be like a car or a structure or a tool, or even, I can even say tree. Enter, and it will give you different models of trees, right? So there, I've added a tree now. The toolbox just makes it easier for you to add any kinds of models that you want to use for your specific project or game. Also deals with audio, decals, mesh parts, videos, and fonts. Okay. So the next, this is not a part. This is where we've created our shape, our cube that we're working with, a block. You can also have a sphere, right? Over here. Wedge, over here. Corner wedge, over here. And your cylinder. So basically, what you would normally do is use these 4 shapes and manipulate them to create structures that fit your scenarios. Okay. Yeah, these 4 shapes. So I'm using my mouse right now. So if you click, okay, this is what happens when I click nothing and I just move the mouse. If I left click and drag, I can select these shapes, right? If I right click and drag, this turns the view of the camera. Okay. But if you want to now change your position in the scene, you click in the scroll bar you see here. Now you can change the location of where you are within your scene. Now, other than part, we have the UI. This is now where you change the frame scrolling, or where you add text, or the style. This is now the last section of all of the different pages that we'll be going through. Okay. Import, it's the same as when we were going through editor. You just add in different models that you want to use for your scenario. Color, let's try with this. This is now you can change colors of the color of your objects to anything you want. Material, this is where you now add different structural, like more realistic types of designs to any of the models that you want. Now, Roblox Studio already has predefined materials and textures in it, but there's also a way that you can import from any other sources that you may have. There are tons of free ones online, of course, but I find it already easy that Roblox Studio has a lot of options here on its own, so you won't really be wanting for much. per se. Now, if you see here, there's this little part that says group. And then there's options when you click on it. There's group as a model, group as a folder, and ungroup. Now, let's try group as a model. I will click and drag to select all of these. And I'll click on group as a model. Now, it is all one object, right? And I'll ungroup them. Once again, it's not just an object on its own, right? So what you do, what that one is usually for is, let's say you've created, I'll take this shape and this one. Well, let me take these two here. These two are better. And I'll place this one right on top. Let me change my view. Let's take this one, move it a bit more. Okay. Now you can see it basically kind of hovers over the cylinder, right? Now press Ctrl and click them both. Now both of them will be selected. I press on group as a model, and now it's one object. Now let's say I want to change the material of both of them. I can say ceramic tile, and I'll give them both now the same color. You see there? Now I have one object. One object, I've changed the material, I've changed the color. So I've just manipulated its properties, right? Okay. Now, in model, this is now you go into more detail for editing the part that you have created. And avatar, this is now where you can create an avatar, you set up its rig, which is basically the skeleton within it that allows the movements of the player. And then in your test, this is basically where you run. But first, let's go back to home. Select this one. Now the lock tool. Okay, we've used this one. Right? The lock tool basically just means, right? I'll lock this one, and I'll go back to select. When you want to now click and drag to select, the object that has been locked won't be selected. It's being isolated. Now, all you have to do if you don't want that anymore, you just press unlock. And now go back to select, click and drag, back to being selected again. Now anchor is what puts gravity on these objects, which means when you press test, it won't just be hovering over the base plate. It will actually be on the object. So let's go to test, press play. Okay. See, the object is actually there. If we go to this one, now that we've anchored all of our objects, they actually stand stationary. Okay. Okay, let's go to stop. And we're going to start our first activity. First things first, you can delete all of these objects. This one here. Select. This one. Delete, delete, delete. All of these. And create a new part. Let's start with a block. Red block. You can make it, yeah, red is fine. Now here on the right side, let's change the name of this part. So let's call it let's call it color block. This is now a color block, right? Okay. Now on the color block, you're going to right click, then you're going to say insert object, and you search for script. So in Roblox Studio, essentially you can also do scripting. Now the main language that we do scripting in is called Lua. It's a better derivative of C Sharp, whereas it is more user friendly and it is easier to learn for beginners, right? A lot more shortcuts and a lot more functionality based on the exercises that we're going to be doing. So remember, I went to color block and I made a script for the color block, which means that the script was now the child of the color block part within the hierarchy here, as you can see, which means anything that I add into this script is affecting the block, not the other part that was created, not the tree or any other materials or object that we'll be having in our scene, only the color block because it is a child of said block. Okay. Now, it initially has the starting code of hello world, but what you want to do is delete that. We're going to add a specific script that will change the color of the block every time that you click it, right? So first, we start with local brick, right? Let me see script dot parent, right? So the brick is the parent of the script. Whatever you put in this script will affect the brick only. You go to the next. I like to leave some space open to make the script more neat. Now we're going to put the function in. So local function on touch. Say other part. You see, immediately when I pressed enter, it already gives the end, and it's giving me the code. So this is basically what we'll be doing. I can even just tab, and there's the code now. Every time you press on the cube, the color should change, right? So let's read through. We have the character, humanoid character, find first child, which is a humanoid, or the color block in our instance. Now, if humanoid, this is now the if statement that we have for pressing on the block. If humanoid, once you touch onto the brick here, then it must give a new color. You see the brick touched, new color. So let's try it out. The spawn side is a bit far from the brick, isn't it? We can change that after the first test. See, nothing happens when I pressed on it. So the first test has shown us that there's still something missing within the script. So we stop, reevaluate. Mhm. Oh, okay. Okay, there are some parts of this code that we do not need. So let's do this. Delete it to here. Right? Then we say click. Mhm. You need to be paying attention to how you spell also. Otherwise, the code could start giving you errors and then you will be wondering why is it not working, right? Now here it says brick color new, but we want dot random, okay? Just keep this open. Mhm. And, okay, this one looks better. Let's try again. Well, let's read through one more time. It's on touch. We've called for the part. We specified what happens on the touch. The other time. Find first child. You don't need that. Just need find first child. And then if humanoid, then brick color random, because we don't want to know what the next color will be. It should just randomize. And then outside of end, we're going to specify by brick touched. Connect and touch. Okay. Now we try again. Oh wait, now let me stop. Go back to the home. Not the home, but place. Need to make this brick closer to the spawn side because right now it's way too far. Let's throw it all the way over there. Okay, that's pretty close. Go back to the script. Some space over there. Let's display. So you see there's still nothing happening. Second test, complete. Now we stop. Go back now to the code. Function on touch. Local character. Statement. Just needs that. Okay, let's try this again. There you go. So every time you touch it, it changes color. Now we've just created our first brick. We've added script to the brick and we changed its color. Okay. What else can we do in Roblox Studio? Well, we can go back to where we're talking about our toolbox. Now, some objects that you import already have their own functionalities. Let's say for car, and this one. Okay, where? Now let's press play. Such as this one here. This one already has the option for you to enter it. See that? So basically, they come pre-coded with their own functions already. You can add a car, you can drive it around. But let's do something else now. Let's say I want to create an obstacle course for this car. And then I would start by going to my parts and we can use the wedge. Yeah, I'll place it here. Let's rotate this. That's about good. Now I want us to scale it. I'll hold control to scale the entire shift. Tab is to grab. It's longer. Still not enough. I want to see what this thing can really do. Okay, looks about good enough. But what else? Let's say there should be something that it goes over. We can go back to our toolbox. You can say tracks. Just track. This one should be fine. Let's add these. Rotate. Duplicate. Select. Five duplicates. One. Let's duplicate this one as well. And we'll put it all the way over here. But we're going to rotate it now. Now, do we think this car will make the jump? Let's find out. But you know what? We're gonna put some script on this one too. So let's go back to this. You're going to press Control A, Control C. Go back into your place. You right click onto this. You insert an object, script, Control A, Control V. Let's see. Let's test it out. Yep, works. Nice. I'm gonna do the same for the other one. Go back to place. Going to rename this. Going to rename this. Let's call it ramp 1. Then we have 2. Now in ramp 2, I'm gonna wanna have the same thing essentially. We need to select, set object, script, Control A, Control V. Okay. Now press play to test. Let's go and find that car of ours. Okay, so basically, it's not only your avatar that has to touch the object. As you can see, also the car touched the object and it still changed color. You see there? This one. Script. Now, other than that, I'm going to make a new exercise of creating a house. Okay? We'll leave that as it is. Start with this part of the scene right here. Okay. So first, we go to the model tab and we click part. We're gonna insert a block. Usually we just start with blocks, but first let me give it a number. Should be right as well. Should be right. Okay. Now we're going to resize this. And by that, you just go to scale.
Getting phone.
what do you call it? I'm live on YouTube. What if I was just talking to myself this whole time? Okay, so we'll scale it 20 to 10. It's our first wall. But let's say 10 to 20. So now be 20. So now be 10. Wall number one. Now usually you just create one wall and duplicate a lot, but I already have two bricks here, so I'll just make this one the second one already by scaling this one by 20, and this part by 10. You start with two initial walls like that, with a texture of asphalt, so you can see it's much more specific. Okay. Now remember, I'm going to click and tag. I'm going to anchor so that the gravity can be applied on these two objects. At first, you can still move them around even though they've already been anchored. I will rotate. This can be the other side of the wall. Then I go back to select and look right there. Yeah. Better. Or even two parts of the wall. Duplicate this one, put it this side. Duplicate that one, put it here. The difference with this one is there has to be a door here. So I'm not just going to close it with four walls. So what I can do is, or actually yes, I will close it. First, let's go back to scale. 22 to make up for the extra 2 that was covered right there. Now let's try with negate. No, not yet. I'll put another part in. Let's say a block. Put this block right here, right? Now negate is how you basically cut parts of the shape out. And usually you use the shape that you've created to cut that same amount of shape out of what you want. So I'll turn this block into the size of a door. Make it a bit higher. Say 5 or 6 even. Right? Now move it inwards. And then I negate. Do the same with the other side. Going to select part block.
See, was so highest. What's up, man?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. See, your computer is mean bad actually. Then think of this one in this car. Yeah, there is some different. Go home. Okay, go home. Realization. first.
Much better. This is going to be Windows. Place that in there. Go back to scale and make it a bit wider. Like that. Right. Material. Let's cut the properties panel. Let's make this a bit bigger because we can't really see that well. Properties. Let's change the transparency to 0.5 should be fine.
This happened. Me. What? Okay, what is that? What? Yeah. Level one. Not this one's good. That's happening. Control to the order. Mesa of Hasu. Di? Namco sa mesa of Hasu. Namco. Just pass on the one if you Namco was back there. Eh?
But I want to do this to scale this again. We don't need to do it. Explorer for now. Bit. Have a better view. So essentially here, the main part is just to take shapes and manipulate them. It takes a lot of repetition until you get the object the way you want it to look. Okay? So now I'm thinking of a separate design where the window is an entire skyline before the ceiling is placed. So I'll duplicate that, put it on this side as well. Duplicate again. Put it here for now. Let's rotate. Select. Same level. This one as well. Up. Setting here. Be a bit higher. Let's scale them to 5. So this one 5, 5, 5. Okay. Let's go back to part. I will use a wedge as my ceiling. So let's scale this. I'll use shift control. Let's go with 55 is fine. Okay. Now let's change the material. Let's say it looks about nice. Right. I'm gonna move this up to the left.
Jadi kita dari kita bukan festival lah. Oh. Ya? Ini mas angkat. Ini is the best of equipment. Udah.
Okay.
That's it.
Go back to scale.
That's all. Yeah, that's it.
This side.
Ini kan that's it sebenarnya. Ya. Ini kan that's it sebenarnya.
Let's go back to the properties panel. 0.5 might not be the way. Let's try 1. Complete transparency. Yes. Or, okay, not complete. We can say 0.7, no, 8. So that will make this much better. Okay. Do the same for the other sides. 0.8. So, 0.8. Once again, the same with this one. Properties panel. Select properties panel, transparency, moving it up to 0.8. Now shift back. Well, this one, move it, want it a little bit more down. Similarly, we connect, rotate just a little bit. It's too much. The thing about Roblox Studio is that it's very sensitive with its gravity. So any way that you move your object, you need to be very gentle. Otherwise, for example, the slightest movement, and it will be now on the floor, anywhere there. It doesn't stay at the level where you want it to rotate. It will always follow the gravity rules first. Okay. So this is where these tools now come in handy because they make it more easier for you to navigate that part, right? As you can see here. I want to rotate this. Time, further, move it up, then feedback. Now we have our walls, our door, our see-through window skyline and our slanted wooden roof, right? But now, to select. To do now is go to select all of these. Okay, now before we continue, you need to make sure every single part has been selected, right? And it looks so. We go back to the group property, and we've now grouped it all as one object. So if I turn this around, it's now one object, you see. Okay. Now next, window scale is now a bit better. Now that it's one whole object. Now it's gone on the ground. Take it up a bit more. Shift. There we go. You see how it aligns better. Where's the option? Studio. Now, I wonder what will happen if I open this model. So when we grouped it, we just put all of the objects into one folder, right? So when you click on it, you're selecting the folder, but you'll still be able to select each and every part by going here to your Explorer. You click down on that arrow, and these are all of the parts that you've grouped together. This is now if you still want to continue specifying certain parts, right? So I want to experiment here by the side panel skyline window that we made, right? Do you think I can change its color while it's transparent? Which one do you think will fit more? Let's try this. Not too bad. Continue. Same color. Same color. And same color. Right? Now, I want to try and make a garage for that car that we have. What we do here, we're going to use our parts again. But this time we'll use a block and a wedge. Now the way I always use this wedge is almost like this, but just a bit different, right? So I'll put it here for now. Let's first use this part, scale it. Yes. Scale the entire part. To just touch there. This is about enough. Right? Yep. It's about enough. Now I'm going to duplicate this. Put it here. Rotate it. Because it's going to become a wall now. But I don't want it to be this material. I'll take it back to, no, not that one either. Go back to asphalt is very fine. This one I'll make it a grayish color. Right. Select. Put it right here. Duplicate. It's going to be the back wall. Rotate. Use this one. But now you see it's a bit too long, so I need to scale this one. Let's see how it fits here. Needs to be right. Yeah. Change your view. Up. Much better view. So let's say I move it all the way here to the back to make sure it's a part of the wall, right? Boom. Go back to scale. It needs to be this much, right? It's pretty fine. Now I want to make a better looking ceiling, right? I'll duplicate this, move it here. Let's see what kind of material we can have. Oh, this is nice. Just like that, we already have the material we want. Now we change our view. We move this upwards and here. And front too. It's fine. Now we're going to take that cone and I'll show you what I meant by how I wanted to use it, right? There it is. So I'll take this over here. Change my view. Bring it up a bit. Now let's scale. I'll make it a bit wide. Down. Move again. Right there. This is going to be like a little upstop for the car to drive on. Let's make it up right here. Soon. Move here. See it angled nicely. Looks pretty okay. You see how it seamlessly now goes inward. Now we're going to try. No. First, let's make sure this all becomes one object as well. So we'll group that. Now it's apart. Instead of doing that, we could just take the object that we just created like this. Control, click, 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 click. And we can drag it. We could drag it into that, into this folder that we've created, remember, because it's what this is. As a matter of fact, we can even just rename it now, say house. So that's where these objects will go. But to be easier, I'll just select them all, right? Put them into house. But now the problem is if you do that, house will have its parts and the other parts will still be outside. So once again, I'll do the other option of taking this. Inside house. See, now it's totally all one piece. Then we test with play. Mhm. Every time you get it wrong, you just start again. Seems I will not even able to get through my own obstacle course. Let's try and go into the garage now. Guys, way too fast. Let's try another car. Let's try. Let's go to the toolbox. Ah, it's already in the history here. Let's see which one we can try. The baby car. It's already close to the house as well. Okay, so let's try this one. Mhm. See, perfect. Plug into your garage. There's still a bit of space right there. You see that little space? We can even close that. First things first. Start the obstacle course with this one. Let's try closing that little gap. Now remember I told you in house when you click on a certain part you can still edit it because you didn't turn it into one object, you turned it into a folder with multiple objects, right? So here expand view, zoom in here. It's a bit too much. Just move it a bit. One should be fine. Press play again so we can see better. This just puts it on top and that's not what we want. So let's go back out. It's fine. Okay. So we've created a house. We've imported cars with their own functions. And we've created objects and added scripts to them to put our own functions. Now let's try another activity of creating a working light switch, for example, right? So for that one, we can go back to part. We can see you. Yeah. Go to part. Let's add a sphere. Going to turn this into a light switch. But first, let's go back to the material and change. So I want this to be not phosphor, just normal glass. Color, we're gonna keep it white for now. Now for this part, let's rename it. I'm going to call it switch. Switch, yeah. Bulb. Bulb sounds better. Okay. Now for bulb, we're going to create insert object, script, and here we're going to use a click detector on the switch bar, right? So let's put this bulb in our house. So I'll take this bulb and first let's play. No, that's fine. Inside now. Okay. Place it here. And then I'll put another part, probably the block. Where's our block? Probably that side. There's our block. Probably on the inside. Just go back inside. Sunlight. Let's stay a little bit. But scale it to be a bit smaller. We need to click anchor because we put it on a wall, right? Otherwise, when we press play, this object will just fall to the ground. That's not what we want. So this is the one that we're going to name switch. Switch. Enter. Okay. Now, click on insert object. You're going to add click detector, which means that once you click on it, it will respond, right? So let me see here. You insert an object. Did I already insert for light bulb? Bulb, 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 script. Let's remove this one now. Go back to bow. Set object. The one that is a point light. This is going to be our light. Alright. You can see the different vertices that are created when you choose point light, right? Now the range is fine, the color is fine. On the light switch, we're gonna go back to this one. Right click. Here it is. Right click, set property. Now we're going to create a script for it. For Lua. I'm going to add some logic that'll let it know that when it's clicked, this is what's supposed to happen to a certain object. That certain object is going to be now a bulb that we created. So we'll say local bulb bulb is equals to going to the workspace and say wait for child, and the child in question is bulb, right? Space local. Now this is the point light. I'm going to say the bulb find first child, but it's first child of class. To be more specific, then you say now class will be from point light. That one. Good. So far so good. Now again local is on. This is not to check whether the light is on or off. So here you say true. Right? Next. Script dot parent dot click detector dot mouse click. You should be using your mouse to click on it, right? Then you say connect. Connect. Now we're going to add a function. Set function, you go here. Now in this part is now where you create, where you specify a function. So you say is on, not is on. This is now to differentiate between on and off. On is on, not is on. Yeah. Then you enter, give a bit of space to make it more readable. If point light, then go back there. If point light, then point light is enabled. So you are enabling the point light, turning it on, which means if it's enabled, it will be equals to is on. You see there? And the end is already given to us there. That should be fine. Now let's try and test it. Now before testing, let's leave that for a bit. Want us to really make a little door now, so let me go out. So now turn around, change my view. Let that be this side. Pretty sure I anchored this all out of it. Okay, one more time. Can never be too sure about anchoring. This part is named the door, and then move it. It needs to be more inward here. As a matter of fact, let's clean it a little bit. Let's go to the model tab and press negate. So we'll go through the step again. I created a block for that was shaped as the door. I made sure that it was wider than what the wall is, and so that it can stick out on both sides. In the model view, you would press negate, which makes the door turn red, right? Then you hold in control, you select both the wall and the door when it is red, when the door is red. Once both of them are now selected, you press union, and that cuts now up the hole open for your door hole, right? Okay, now we can try the test option for that light switch to see if it will click. So I'm going to the house. Let's see, let's see. You see, the light fell. We didn't anchor it. But nonetheless, let's just click here. So nothing is happening. First test of light switch complete. Now we troubleshoot. First things first, let's enter in here. Make sure that light stays up there. We're going to anchor it so it doesn't fall. Let's make sure it doesn't fall. Okay, there it is. You can see it's not falling this time, so it's fine. Let's stop this for now. I close this. Close this. We're in the light bulb workspace. Where's my mouse? Okay, let's read through. We have the workspace. Let's try and try this one. So cancel this and local. Oh, space. Local. Yes, it's on, so it's true. No? True. Okay. Now the script, so we add now the functions. So you say script dot parent dot click detector dot mouse click. Then you say connect inside function. When you do that, go there, there's your space. Now the logic for the function is on, goes to not is on, space, bound, let's say transparency, right? Is on and 0 or 1. So stay test the second code option. Go inside. This just makes it transparent. What we want from it is for it to glow. So let's try. Let's try a different set of code. So transparency. Let's see. What? Local space. Wait for child. Child is the power. Okay. Go down. Local again. Point to left. First child of class. Of class. That's the one we're looking for. Delete that. Inside there. Looking for the point light. Remember, using bulb, we get a point light. Okay. So there's a mistake. circle. Once again, is on. True. It's on. Now time for the logic script. But parent click data. Mouse click. Connect. And then the function. So press there to start. Okay. Press there to start. If point light is on equals to not is on, point light is enabled, which means is on. Yeah. When you end, you retire again. Give a call now. Okay, so I can check. Yeah. If you are called, let me know it. I think consistent, but okay, so let's see. Okay, so it does go on and off, just the brightness is very low. So what we did here is we created a sphere and then we named it bulb, right? And then the property, the object that we gave it is a point light, which makes the object act as a light. So it's a receiver for a function that you add to your click detector that we did on this cube here. This is our switch. We added a click detector on it and we added a script. The script is where we now added a function of clicking this with the if statement you see here. You say if the point light is on, then is on, is not is on. Then the point light will be enabled, which means it is on. Anytime you press on it, it will toggle between on and off or on and not on. This enables now the function of the point light because now it knows when the switch is clicked by the mouse next to the point light, which means the point light should either be turned on or turned off. Simple as that. All right. Do one last example, just to understand the basics of Roblox. It was a pretty nice house, moving around. I like it. Look at the sun. First, let's go here. Okay. Let's play again. Let me see. Yes. Now, let's try and create a working elevator. Okay, first things first. You can use this color block. Oh, it was already used. We can just create another object. Let's this time we use a cylinder. Okay. So uh,
Okay.
uh, yeah, I love it. It's not anchored. It's fine. No, let's make another part block. I just realized go outside and look for my block now. There it is. Let's put it this way. Cut it again. This will be the button that we used to click now for the elevator. Let's make this over there. Scale it. It's pretty okay. Say elevator. Vator. Vator. The elevator and the elevator button. Okay. And on this one also, add a click detector. So you go to insert object, click detector, because you'll be clicking it with your mouse. Okay. For this one, you go to insert object, and then you also now look for the script. Good. Turn on. Now let's write some functions for this pattern. Okay. So let's say local queen service. Game get service. So we're getting a service that we'll be using here for the elevator. Then you go in there and you call it twin service. Enter. Again local. Space. Elevator. Workspace. Wait for child. Just a normal wait for child, not wait for child of class this time. Okay. And then the child is the elevator, the one that you named elevator, which was our cylinder. Right? Then you go back to local again. Starting position. Starting position. Elevator dot position. So where it is right now, that's the starting position. And then local end position. Right? Which will be the starting position plus say vector, but you take vector 3. Okay. Let me say dot new. Now we're going to specify our vectors by we can say 0, 20, and then back to 0. Okay. Yes, if I remember correctly, that's about as high. That's about as high we made our walls. Somewhere over 20 or 20 degrees. Yes, the wall was 20, and then the windows were another 10. So the elevator should go high enough. Okay. And then enter. Let me say local is up. Now remember in the other script we're always saying is on, not is on. Well, here we're using is up. Okay, you test to check if it's up before it starts to go up. Otherwise, if it's up, it goes down. Alright? So is up is equals to false because the starting point is currently at the ground level. So is up is false. Now let's start with a function. Local function move elevator, right? Say local the goal is equals to we do that. You need the curly braces, okay? Enter. Now specify the goal. Goal position. Position is equals to is up and start position or end position. So end position. Goal position is up, end, start, or end, or end position, okay? So it's end, the start position, or the end position. It has to be the is up plus one of those two positions, not both of them. That's why it says start or end. Okay. Then you enter. We leave some extra space to make it more neat. We go back to local. And once again, it is queen info. Okay. Let's add some information about these servers. So we'll say twin info dot new. Now in here we'll say the vector in over there dot style is the one to use. Dot sign. You say again. You take enum. But now this time we're not going to say style. We're looking for direction. So here. Then not comma, but dot. Now we want in out, not just in or out. Once again, it's local. Now just twin is equals to twin service, right? Twin service. Now we create this time. So we're looking for create, not waiting for a child. We're creating. Now inside, we say elevator, comma, between info that we stated and the goal. So the goal, yeah. Enter again. Now twin play. Oh, play. Okay. Once again, is up and not is up. Is up and not is up. Is it the start point or is it the end point? Right? Now you do the callback function, which is now script dot parent dot click detector. Yeah. Oh. No. Okay, we can stop here with this lesson. I'll keep this in saved for our next session. Thank you very much for listening.